everyone, my name is Shiran Subar, and today I'm going to inform you on the topic of Hodgkin's lymphoma. Hodgkin's lymphoma is one of the most common cancers in young adults. 1 in 6 cancers affecting young adults is Hodgkin's lymphoma. Hodgkin's lymphoma is a cancer in the lymphatic system, and the lymphatic system is your natural defense against infection. So you might be sitting there thinking, I'm pretty healthy, I don't think I can get Hodgkin's lymphoma. I eat well, I work out. However, my very athletic, healthy, and plant-based 26-year-old sister had the same exact thoughts when the doctor told her that she was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. Hodgkin's lymphoma is a major disease in young adults. However, it can be both treated and prevented. Today, I'm first going to talk to you about what is Hodgkin's lymphoma. Second, I'm going to tell you about the signs and the symptoms. And third, and lastly, I'm going to inform you on the treatments and the options. To start off with, Hodgkin's lymphoma, formerly known as the Hodgkin's disease, as I said, is a cancer of the lymphatic system. It is a part of your immune system. The lymphatic system are small vessels that drain your lymph fluids throughout your whole body. Hodgkin's lymphoma may affect anyone. However, it is most common in young adults aged 20 to 40 years old. A dictionary of biomedicine tells us a human lymphoma involves the lymph nodes, the spleen, and general lymphoid tissues. A diagnostic feature is the presence of RS cells, giant cells with mirror image nuclei. So the cells multiply and they spread all around, and by the time it affects your lymphatic system, it can no longer fight itself off. Cancer, as a part of the immune system, is called the lymphatic system. As the cancer progresses, it limits the ability to fight the infection. According to cancer.net, approximately 2,000 of new cases of the disease will be diagnosed in people aged 20 to 29 just this year. Second, I'm now going to talk to you about the signs and the symptoms of Hodgkin's lymphoma. Mayo Clinic says signs and symptoms of Hodgkin's lymphoma may include painless swelling in the lymph nodes, which, as you can see in the example I've showed you right here, it is the swollen lymph nodes. That's what it basically looks like. You can receive it in your neck, your armpit, your groin, and a few other symptoms that aren't as visible are persistent fatigue, fever, night sweats, unexplained weight loss, and severe itching. In my sister's case, she had some small symptoms over time, but it was nothing we thought was a big deal, as big as it was. She started off severely itching her arms at night, where she would look like she would have tiger scratches on her body by the morning. She also would have sometimes night sweats and would be fatigued often. However, what really made it visible was when she all of a sudden grew a bump on her neck. She figured that it would just go away and let it go there after some time. That just led to it growing bigger and bigger, and we didn't know, however, this was the cancer spreading all the way to her chest. One day, she was sitting outside at a restaurant, and a cat came near her. As the animal lover she is, she took some food off her table and she fed it to the cat. The cat took the food and accidentally, most likely, scratched her and then ran off. For the next few days, the lymph on her neck grew bigger and bigger. At first, she was thinking, why would the cat do such a thing to me? Only to realize that if it wasn't for the cat, she would have never have gotten her lymph node checked and realized that this lymph node that was in her neck was a bigger deal than she thought. It was cancer. This cat had basically saved her life. I finally want to inform you on the current treatment and options there are if someone has Hodgkin's lymphoma. Although cancer is a very serious disease, cancer.org says that the 5-year relative survival rate for all patients diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma is now about 86%. This should give us hope if we choose the right treatment for us, and for someone who has Hodgkin's lymphoma, they can be treated and eventually get back to the life they had. There are multiple different options one can decide to go in order to treat their cancer, depending on the stage you are in of cancer, as well as what you feel is right for you, after discussing it with a doctor that you trust and with your loved ones. The Lymphoma Guide explains a few different options, including chemotherapy, which is a drug treatment that uses chemicals to kill the lymphoma cells. Chemotherapy drugs travel through your bloodstream and can reach nearly all areas of your body. Chemotherapy is good for people who are in earlier stages of cancer. There is also radiation therapy, which uses high energy beams such as X-rays and protons to kill the cancer cells. For classical Hodgkin's lymphoma, radiation therapy is often used after chemotherapy. People in the early stage of Hodgkin's lymphoma may undergo radiation therapy by itself without the chemotherapy. There are also other options like bone marrow transplant, also known as stem cell transplant, which is a treatment to replace your current diseased bone marrow and replace it with a brand new bone marrow, a healthy one. A bone marrow transplant may be an option if Hodgkin's lymphoma returns despite the treatment. These are just a few of the multiple options you can discuss with your doctor and feel that it'd be the best option for you. By learning about Hodgkin's lymphoma, you will have a greater understanding of what one goes through when dealing with this illness and how it can be treated, and possibly, if you get it right before it comes, you can even prevent it. First, I talked to you about what Hodgkin's lymphoma is. I then informed you on the signs and the symptoms of someone who possibly has Hodgkin's lymphoma. I lastly spoke to you about the treatment and options one can take once they are diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. We don't have to be fearful of Hodgkin's lymphoma, but by being aware and knowledgeable of what Hodgkin's lymphoma is and what some of the signs and symptoms are, you are able to take this information and possibly save your life or a loved one's life. And that's a pretty big deal. Thank you so much for listening.